Hey everybody, I want to give you a quick introduction to the new Wavebank MC player by Voxglitch. It's a multi-channel sample player and it allows you to, well, let's go ahead and do it. Right click, select directory containing wave files. In this case, I'm going to choose some audio files that I have. Go to samples, go to drums and hats, hit OK, and you can see that it's loaded all of those samples. Now we can select the samples in various ways. We could either click on a new sample or we can select a sample using the slider. I mean knob, not slider. And then you can also CV control the selection of which sample is going to play. It's got two different types of outputs. First of all, I've got the traditional left and right output. But because this module was created for a very specific purpose, for controlling lasers actually, it's got a audio output as well. Wave files can have multiple channels. Usually they have one or two channels, but they could have up to 16 channels. So if you have a sample that has 16 channels of audio, you can access all those channels through the poly audio output. It has a wave selection, which we've looked at. It's got multiple ways to get to the various samples, previous and next, and clicking on it directly. It's also got poly pitch input. Now, as I said, the samples could have multiple channels, and the poly pitch input will let you control those independently. Now, if you don't need independent control over pitch, you just give it a mono signal, just give it a normal LFO or whatever you got sequencer, and it will apply that pitch to all the channels. Similar to volume. Volume works the same way. Now we've also got a loop switch. And this could be a lot of fun if you're doing something like break beats. So let's go in and grab some break beats. You get the point. Here's a nice new feature that I added. So if you go and you right click, I'm going to select new files, new audio files. I'm going to choose from some classical music. I got this one. I've also got some Mozart. Now, if I were to trigger this quickly, you could hear that there was sort of a fade in the beginning of both of these. So if I trigger it quickly, we don't really expect to hear much, right, because it's still fading in on both. That's cool. That doesn't matter. But what if we wanted to switch between these two during playback? We could do that. We could. There's an option now called sample change behavior. If we put that on continual, we can, when we switch between wave files, it will continue at the same playback position. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull in an LFO. And let's go ahead and string up a, how about a triangle wave? We can see it switching between the two. So if I trigger it, I could get up there. Anyhow, a lot of fun. All right, come back to my hi-hats collection. Gonna go ahead and set the settings for sample change behavior to restart. I'm gonna set my, I'm gonna link up a sine wave to the WAV selection. let's go ahead and see what that sounds like if I set it to continual. I can barely hear anything. All right, you may have noticed that there is a smoothing flag. And right now the smoothing flag is on. I've got some audio from some YouTube videos that I stole. And so let's go ahead and listen to what that sounds like. Pretty cool. And you can see when I go really fast, it starts to become a little bit quiet, and that's because the smoothing algorithm is mostly smoothing out all the sound. So if we wanted to, we could go ahead and turn off the smoothing algorithm. Yeah, there we go. It just sounds awesome. And I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for following along.